In today's video, I want to talk about some real estate concepts. We're going to be talking about deeds, we're going to be talking about security interest, and we're going to be talking about seller financing. Hi, I'm attorney Rilus Dana. I practice law in Arizona and California in the areas of probate and estate planning. In helping clients to this area, we also deal with real estate quite often. So let me share my screen and let's get into it. All right, real property title options. Let's start there. So if one person owns a property, it's pretty simple. The title is going to be in their name. Now, if that person is married in a state like Arizona, California, or a community property state, we need to clarify if that property is their separate property or if it's a community property, which is the default. I've had other videos about community property. We're not going to get into that today. If there's multiple owners on the deed, the default is that they own it as tenants in common. What that means is that there's no rights or survivorship. So if one of them passes away, their share goes to their estate. Now, if they have a will, that's going to control their estate, and it may take a probate to transfer their share to their beneficiaries. The other way that multiple owners can own property is as joint tenants with rights of survivorship. So it has to specifically say with rights of survivorship. Otherwise, it's going to be the previous way, the tenants in common. So rights of survivorship means if one of the owners passes away, then the remaining owners now own the property. Nothing transfers to the deceased owner's estate. You can also take title to a property in a trust or an LLC. So the document that conveys ownership, we're going to call it a deed of conveyance. There's all different types of deeds. This is commonly what we mean to when we say deed or title, who's on the title. So it's the legal document transferring ownership of real property. It shows the current owners. So there could be multiple owners. It could be owned by a trust. It could be owned by an LLC. Some of the owners could be deceased. So the deed's going to show this. The deed shows us who the owners are. Now, there's different types of conveyance deed. That's why this gets so confusing. There's a warranty deed. A warranty deed expressly guarantees that the grantor has good, clear title and covenants the quality of title and provides warranties for a variety of defects, whether the defects were caused by the grantor or someone else. So this contains the most promises. They promise that they own the property and they promise to defend against defects. Now, a special warranty deed, the grantor covenants that the property is free from all encumbrances made by that grantor. So they're promising that whatever they did was okay, but they don't make any warranties going back from anyone other than themselves. A quitclaim deed transfers a grantor's complete interest, but does not warrant the extent of the grantor's interest, if any, or that the title is even valid. I'm giving you whatever interest I have in this property, but I'm not making any promises about it is, as my title might not be good, and I might not even own the property, but whatever I have is now yours. Now, in dealing with a lot of times, my clients are transferring properties to their own trust or to their own LLC, so it doesn't really matter which type of deed. It's not as important when they're both sides on there. And for today's video, I just want you to understand that means the owner. So you might see a quitclaim deed, special warranty deed. It just means the owner. That's what we're really concerned about. Now let's talk about debt, secured debt. So it's like an IOU basically is a way to think of debt. In real estate, mortgages, they get secured against the property. So there's another document also called a deed, usually called a deed of trust. But that attaches the debt to the property. So if this property was ever sold, the new buyer will see this debt. They'll see that they have to pay off this debt or continue to take over this debt. There could be another mortgage, or there could be a second position. and there could be other liens or other secured interests against the property, like an HOA lien or maybe a tax lien. And the order of these could be important. So if there's not enough money to pay everyone, the first position gets paid first, and then second, and so on. Okay, let's take a look how a traditional retail sale works first, and then we'll see how it works on a seller financing transaction when the seller wants to be the bank. Okay, so in a traditional retail sale, usually you sign a listing agreement with the real estate agent, and then they market the property, they show the property, and it's unknown how long this will actually take. You don't know how long it's going to take until a buyer comes along that's willing to pay that price. It might take several showings, but eventually an offer will get accepted. The offer is going to contain the sales price, earnest deposit, inspection period, and closing date. Again, just keeping it basic. I'm not actually an agent. Hopefully I'm not upsetting the agents that are watching this. They'll open an escrow with the title company. The title company is going to do a search to confirm the ownership of the property and to see if there's any debts associated with it. After an inspection, there may be some repairs or concessions that are asked for. And at the end of the transaction, it's typically the seller that ends up paying all the closing costs. So the commissions for the agents and the title costs usually gets paid by the seller in a traditional retail sale. Let's look at a seller financing transaction. Now, this is something that I think a lot of people don't realize this is an option. They think that if you sell the house, that your only choice is to take cash for it. And though I'm seeing more situations where it makes sense for families to become the bank. Instead of holding a house, they can still hold an asset that's secured by the real estate. All right, so how that would work, you would meet with the real estate professional, accept an offer. Now, the offer is going to contain the sell price. Maybe there's going to be some cash paid, like a down payment, and then the loan from the seller. So how much is the seller going to loan, and what are the terms of that loan? Escrow is going to get open with a title company, just like a regular transaction. They'll do a title search, confirm the ownership and debts. All the documents will get signed, just like what the bank would do. So the seller is going to have security. They're going to have a deed of trust, and they're going to have their interest secured. So maybe there's some payment from the seller, there's a loan from the seller, and then the new buyer ends up with the deed. So they're now the owner of the property, and the seller now owns this a note. They own the right to get paid. So this entitles them to an income stream. In these types of transactions, it's typically the buyer that pays the closing cost. So this can work out good for someone that maybe the property has a low basis. So if it was sold, there'd be a capital gains tax. Maybe they're sick of being a landlord for whatever reason, but they still want some income. So I see this as a great opportunity. I'm also suggesting this sometimes in estate planning. I see parents that are concerned about their children blowing the money or losing it. So this is a way that a child can inherit an income stream. All right, let's do a little accounting basics. So assets. So owning a house is clearly an asset. Money is an asset. An IOU is debt, right? If you borrow money, that's a liability. So here's the person that's going to borrow the money. Now, the person that owns the note, that's actually an asset. So they exchange their money, essentially. Instead of getting paid, they own this note, which is the right to be paid over time and with an interest rate. So how to find a real estate professional. If you're in Arizona or California or really anywhere, you can put in the property address here, and we can help connect you with someone that can show you more of these options to see if a seller finance or maybe a cash sale works better for you in your situation. Hope you found this video helpful. Let me know other topics that you'd like to hear about, and we'll see you in the next videos.